Welcome back. Now, a study has found that obese seniors may live just as long as their trimmer peers, but more of those golden years may be spent on the treatment table.
Yes, in fact, the associated ailments greatly affect the quality of their daily lives. Now, let's talk more about this with Dr. Rahul Malhotra, a senior author of the study. Thanks so much for coming in. Give us sort of the backstory or the context, if you'd like. Why the study focusing on obesity?
Sure. So the reason we focused on obesity was because obesity is increasingly becoming more common globally and in Singapore and among older people. So data that we have at our center, the Center for Aging Research and Education at the Duke NUS Medical School, shows that the proportion of older people aged 60 and above in Singapore with obesity has increased from around 7% to nearly 10% over the past 10 years. So, usually when we think about older people, one may think about somebody who looks frail and weak, but we do find evidence that even obesity is increasing among older people. So we wanted to look at obesity as a health risk factor and a factor that affects the duration of life one lives, as well as the duration of life one lives in good or bad health among older Singaporeans.
Okay, so your team, this is interesting, so your team measured the ability among those 60 years and older to perform tasks such as to walk 200 to 300 meters, climb 10 steps, and raise their hands above the head. So why were these chosen in particular, so specific?
Right. So these are usually used internationally to measure physical function among older people. It's part of a battery of tests called as the NAGI measures. They've been around since the 1970s and very often used among when we survey older people about their physical function. So we use these measures, and we also used another parameter called as the activities of daily living, whether did they have any difficulty or not in activities like bathing, eating, dressing, managing their medications, going out for shopping, doing housework. We focused on these because these have been shown to be really important for day-to-day functioning among older people. You can imagine if you have difficulties in these activities, you wouldn't be able to function, either meet your daily kind of sustenance needs or either function socially. So we wanted to see if those with obesity spend more or less time of their lives facing difficulties with these problems.
It does seem a bit unfair, I have to say, because, you know, after you've lived a long life as service to your work and the like, you might want to sort of sit back and relax and, sort of indulge in all the things you perhaps didn't when you were younger. But that's a dangerous assumption to make?
Yes, I would agree with that, because I think what our study finds is that, yes, at one end it finds that older people with obesity may live as long as those with normal weight. However, a lot more of those years will be spent with difficulty in physical function and in activities of daily living. So I would say if you're retiring, if you're old, yes, you can kind of slow down as many older people do, but don't compromise on your health. It's essential to maintain a healthy weight throughout your life course, whether you're younger and from our study, even when you're older.
I suppose the important thing is it enhances the quality of your life.
Right.
So with the survey, what are you hoping, the survey results will help or show or do for policymakers here in Singapore?
Sure. So Singapore is facing kind of these two trends. It has an aging population, and from what we know, there is an increased proportion of obesity among older people. So with more older people who have obesity, our study results point to the fact that they may spend a greater duration of their life needing care either from their family or from long-term care services or social care. So therefore, this has impact on the need for greater planning and provision of social care, long-term care issues, and even family members whose older family members have obesity. They would have to kind of maybe plan for more years of their older family member to be assisted with their daily activities and physical function.
And just quickly, what age are we talking about when you're
referring to this? So in our survey, this pertains to individuals aged 60 and above, and the results were consistent across gender, across all ethnic groups and education levels. So they were kind of consistent, which was interesting as well. So everybody is at risk if they have obesity.
Okay, and next up you'll be doing another study with a younger age group, is that right?
Yeah, so we have a newer set of older people to see whether these patterns hold in the more educated cohorts of elderly Singaporeans. As we know, the current older Singaporeans have more educated. They've had a different life compared to those we interviewed before, so we want to see whether the patterns still hold or not.
Okay, I wish you all the best with that study. Look forward to hearing about the results. Dr. Rahul Malhotra, Head of Research at the Duke NUS Center for Aging Research.